Dragon Ball creator Akira Toriyama passes at 68. I don't talk about too many stories like this on this stream and on this channel, but this is a huge influencer in video games and anime that has moved on. The guy's 68. He was 68 years old, gone too early, and all social media and just the atmosphere amongst all creators, anime creators, game developers has been somber because this man was a juggernaut in the industry. Dragon Ball creator Akira Toriyama has passed away at 68 in a post by the Dragon Ball's official X account. His work on Dragon Ball influenced many modern anime and manga series. Toriyama's visionary balance of humor and action made his manga and art style iconic. Let me tell you about just my early anime influences. The first anime I ever saw was, gosh, why is the name escaping me now? I've told the story 100 times. I can't remember it. It wasn't. Oh man, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed. 1 second. I gotta look this up. This is funny. I gotta look this up. I can't mess this up. I didn't think I was gonna talk about this, but it wasn't Voltron, but it was like Voltron. I gotta look up an anime list and then I'll tell you guys like what. It's like a 70s anime. La 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 la. Wait. No, I'm coming to it. No, that wasn't it. Was it 80s? It wasn't Mobile Suit Gundam. Battle of the Planets. Okay, we're back. Battle of the Planets. This was the very first anime I saw, and I used to watch it early in the morning. Early in the morning. I didn't even know it was called anime at the time. But I used to love this. I used to watch this every chance I got, and it was really, really awesome. And Battle of the Planets changed my life in terms of how I looked at animation in general. And you know, from Battle of the Planets, I stem series like Thundercats and He-Man and that type of art style of cartoons that I got into, and then eventually G.I. Joe and the different things. But it's like Battle of the Planets was the first quote unquote anime, and I didn't even know it was called anime. I just thought it was a cartoon, And then I got to college, and this guy around this time, this was like the early '90s. This guy that I knew, he was my roommate of one of my friends, and he had a whole bunch of VHS tapes. He was Asian. He had a whole bunch of VHS tapes, and that was the only way you could watch anime back then. You had to go to anime trade shows, and you had to come back with a bucket of VHS tapes. He had a whole bunch of anime, and we sat there and we watched Ranma 1/2. When I tell you I was confused beyond just what was happening, because if you don't know about Ranma 1/2, don't even bother go looking at it, because there was a panda, and there was a dude, and there was a girl, and they would just somehow become all. I didn't know what was going on, and to this day I still was lost. And then I was like talking about anime with them, and then he recommended Ninja Scrolls and Akira, and I say Akira to Americans because that's how they know it. Akira and Ghost in the Shell. He recommended those three. He's like, if you want to get started with anime, watch those three, and I did. I was hooked. And thankfully, around that time, Toonami started airing animes. And one of the first ones I really got into, like I had to watch what was going to happen, was Dragon Ball. And that was when I was like, okay, I got to see the next episode. I got to see the next episode. I got to see the next episode. Tune in next time on Dragon Ball Z. On the next episode of Dragon Ball Z, Goku is still charging. That kind of stuff. I was big into that. So this was my massive gateway into anime, was Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. I didn't see Dragon Ball until after Dragon Ball Z, by the way. I saw Dragon Ball first, and then I went back and watched Dragon Ball. And then as technology improved, and as you didn't have to get VHS tapes anymore, things like Usenet came around, and IRC with DCC bots that had the entire season that you could just download to your computer. I'm not saying I did that, but it was available. And I was introduced to animes like Cowboy Bebop. And I was like, oh, because that was on Toonami as well, but I hadn't seen the whole thing. And I was like, wait, I can download this whole thing? So I watched Cowboy Bebop. And guess what my #1 anime of all time is right now? It's Cowboy Bebop. I also got introduced to Trigun on Toonami. So Toonami was a big influence with bringing all these to the West. And Akira Toriyama, the dude was a juggernaut. Because not only, and this is how I knew he was an influence. Not only did he influence me with Dragon Ball, I went to play Dragon Quest. I was like, wait, this guy looks just like the people on Dragon Ball. I was killing slimes. I'm like, everybody looks like they're from Dragon Ball Z. What the heck is this? Is this some kind of plagiarism? Nah, it's just Akira Toriyama. It's one of his Toriyama's one of his older games. I'm like, oh. And then I played Chrono Trigger. I'm like, wait a minute. Everybody looks just like Goku and Bulma. And they were like, that's because that's Akira Toriyama. I'm like, oh, okay. Because I didn't play these games until after Dragon Ball Z, right? So the guy was touching games, he was touching manga, he was touching anime, and I agree with this article that the combination of humor, because there were some funny parts in these animes, the combination of humor and action made it a great, great formula for people like me, because I like action games, I like action movies, but I love when there's humor in them. It breaks the tone of just like constantly fighting, boom, 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 boom. You know, you can get into the story, but then you chuckle every now and then because Goku was a freaking clown. And then when him and Vegeta had their moments, you know, I was on the floor laughing because Vegeta's like this super serious guy, and then Goku's like the ultimate clown, and it just made for this great dynamic. He will be missed, but Akira Toriyama has left probably the biggest since like Mel Brooks. Like, I can't think of anybody else other than Mel Brooks that has left a lasting legacy. Not Mel Brooks, Mel Blunt. What's the Bugs Bunny guy? Okay, we're having another moment. We're having another moment. Is it Mel Blanc? The Looney Tunes guy who left Mel Blanc. Mel Blanc. This guy. He's the only person I can think of that has left as big a legacy as Toriyama. Because this guy, he shaped my childhood much more so than Toriyama. Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Tweeter. Sylvester, Yosemite Sam, Foghorn Leghorn, Tasmanian Devil, Looney Tunes, basically Porky Pig, Elmer Fudd. This dude was a huge influence on all these characters. So he's like one of the ones that has a big influence on me, like Toriyama does on this generation. So it's a big loss. It's going to be a big gaping hole. And it's the fact that he has so much going on, so much happening in progress. He was in the middle of working on stuff, you know, makes you wonder like what he could have accomplished if he had more time. But he's already accomplished so much. So check it out. Over on Screen Rant, they got the story. Very, very sad news. Dragon Ball's creator, Akira Toriyama, passes at 68, leaving behind a massive legacy with Dragon Ball, Chrono Trigger, Dragon Quest, and more. Check it out.